Panda and Chief came with me on this amazing journey. We built this thing from the ground up. And yes, Panda, you're a huge part of that. I know you've been building your vegan empire, but you're still the huge part of this.
She slogged the anime conventions with us.
Since she was there when I was attacked by furries at an anime convention.
One convention we need.
Yes. Yeah, we curb stomped it bad, Kenro. That other show, we curb stomped it bad. Like Chief and I just one day said, "Fuck you, we're done. Fuck you."
Yeah.
But we've created this show. I do want to thank a guy named Levi, because he's created all the theme songs for this show.
Yeah.
He created our original theme song. He's created the one that plays now. I want to give him a big thanks. I want to thank the guys at, even though we haven't been on there for a while, I want to thank Gaming Rebellion, who hosted our show for a very long time. We haven't been on there for a while because of other things. Trying to build this.
They slowed things down, and everybody has stuff going on over there. So I'm not sure how active they all are, but they gave us a big boost.
Yep. I want to thank Filling the Void Podcast Network, because thanks to them, getting with them, that's how we got on iHeartRadio. That's how we're now on Spotify. So I want to really thank those guys as well. Everybody that's ever come on the show, from friends to family to guests. Coolbeer, of course, because he leads the pack right now in guest appearances.
Coolbeer is the number one guy. He's been on more times than anybody.
We call it a Coolbeer's dozen.
Yeah, this is how many? Okay, we got
25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200. This is Coolbeer's 7th appearance. 8th. Oh. Yes, 8th appearance. I can't count. 8th appearance.
Eighth appearance.
I'm this many. I'm 20 years old.
But I was doing old shows.
And you did the old show, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many more than that. Yeah, Coolbeer's been on more than anybody else in the history of the show.
And anybody who wants to hear these old episodes that we have on, I am going to put down our Podbean in the chat. On that Podbean is every single one of our episodes, and also our comic review show, Renegade Reviews, that Chief and I do.
Eduardo Sanchez interviews from Blair Witch Project and exists. We have
and especially
crazy cool stuff on it.
If you want to listen to, I think, Coolbeer, these were still your favorite episodes, or the Scott Snyder interviews.
Yeah, you did well with him, actually.
You got to go, especially that second one, because the second one we did, Chief was sick. And I think Panda was working when we had to do the opening. So you'll get to hear me and Jay Sherman, the critic. Jay Sherman.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I
talk to each other, because I built that.
You had to make that on the fly, because I had the flu really bad.
Yeah. But all the episodes are there, all 200. Well, right now 198, 99 will go up next week, and then of course this show will go up a week later. So Chief, we can actually take a week off next week if we wanted to.
Holy smoke! Well, we got to do reviews. So.
Well, we got to do reviews, but we could take a week off if we wanted to.
We might as well just cut a show over to it.
We'll cut a show. We'll get a week ahead. You guys, Mod says, you guys do an amazing job. So proud of you. Can't wait to see what you have in store for us. Oh, there's so much in store. If you watched the beginning of this show, I am building things like a madhouse. Those animations I built. These people, we were talking and I was building.
Yeah, that's right. You were.
Shorty Becca coming in with the hosts. Thank you so much, Shorty Becca. You are beautiful. Honey King, one of Astrid's very good friends in GTA.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for the host, girl.
And
thank you,
so
Mod,
much for sticking with us. Mod has stuck with us since day one and has been here since back when we did the Quest shows way back. And Mod has just hung in there, and she's a good friend. And she's actually only person I think to ever win prizes from the show. I think she's the only person we've ever sent anything to. But we love Maud. She's here and listens all the time, and she's awesome. So thank you, Maud, for being around, for just being Maud.
I also want to say I want to thank Coolbeer, because he stays up late to come and do this show with us every 25, and he never complains about it. He just says, I got it in my journal. I'm ready to rock. When's the next time? So Coolbeer, you understand, after tonight, you got like 24 weeks.
To slumber like Dracula.
You get to slumber for 24 weeks, and then the beast must be awoken again for episode 225. We're going Fantastic Four. We're going to hit. You know what? Nerd Rage Renegades episode 1000 will now be hosted by Brian Michael Bendis.
That's right.
Brian Michael Bendis will be the new host come episode 1000.
It's quite good though, because I never used to do it. I used to just like find out when you were on, and then I would just say hello. But now I know I've got to be on at a certain time, so you kind of like have this attachment to you. This bond that
Parasite? Are you saying you're a parasite now?
We slide into your bloodstream like a virus.
Oh, and Colbert, I'm going to be picking your brain a lot come lately because my character in GTA does autopsies and things like that. So I might be picking your brain for medical knowledge. So just be prepared.
Okay.
I'm going to be asking you medical questions. She performed. Actually,
no
Chief
problem.
Astrid performed her first autopsy last night in GTA. She performed her first autopsy last night.
Well, see, you should have had Colby there to tell you.
I should have had Colbert. Now, well, you know what I do? And I'm not going to lie. I watch a lot of NCIS.
I love it.
So Astrid is basically like a mixture right now of Ducky and Abby, because she is kind of morbid and goth. But I just pull things. I'm like, I need to check a core temperature. The person's dead. Let me check the core temperature. He's been dead about 2 hours. And then it's like, okay, I need to take trace samples from underneath the fingernails. I need to take hair samples so I can send it to forensics and things like that.
It must be so funny to be Colby and see like shows like that. If you ever catch any of the medical stuff on shows, you must be like, oh my god, what are they doing to this poor guy?
Oh yeah, I can't watch many because I can't handle how they make them dramatic. The real hospital life is not as emotionally charged as the TV shows. Doctors are not that interesting people.
Doctors aren't having wild wind romances in like the locker room and things like that.
An interesting. When I go to a doctor, I want them to like know medical stuff.
Do their job properly.
When Chief goes to the doctor, he wants to know. When Chief goes to the doctor, he has a couple things he wants to make sure of. The doctor, one, is certified, has to be certified doctor, and two, he has to know when he has to turn his head and cough.
And I'm absolutely okay with veterinary technicians checking out. It's fine.
Cool. That's all Chief goes to. He goes to the vet. He's like, hey, while you check out the dogs, check me out.
I get a round of parvo shots about every 3 years.
We have his rabies tag. We just got to put it on his collar. We got to get Chief. We got to get you registered with the county.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys buy comics anymore? Or do you just wait
We do.
for the ones that come to the post?
Because we don't get like Marvel and things like that. And of course, with IDW now doing Sonic, I still have to, even though I get to read it beforehand, I'm still buying Sonic.
Yeah.
And then still get The Walking Dead because the comic is still is better than the show.
Yeah. I have to usually always do the because we've got 4 publishers that we read weekly to do reviews of. So this is my personal stack of books that I need to get to that I haven't read yet.
Mine's about the
This
same.
is all my Marvel and other stuff that we.
Now, I
So,
will say, go ahead, Colbert.
I was going to ask you what your thoughts are on the Brian Bendis.
Really good.
Superman stuff.
Really
I love
good.
it. I think it's Superman hasn't been better in years. I think it's fantastic. I loved what like Gleason and those guys were doing
Yeah,
with Rebirth.
that's what I loved.
But I think that Bendis is doing a fine job. I think it's good, and I've always been a big fan of the red trunks costume. I can't help it. I just love that. I love that he's gone back to the red trunks.
And what's good about the Bendis Superman is, first of all, we don't have like a third Superman that we don't know why he's there. We don't have, we know that it's Superman, and and it's not like the superior Superman. When Bendis screwed that up in Age of Ultron, when it was supposed to be Superior Spider-Man, and it was Peter Parker instead.
Well, Gleason's still working on the book, at least partially.
Yeah.
With Bendis,
But it's been really good.
Yeah, I think it's more real. I think the weekly format is the problem because it means you can't do things quickly. So, not a lot. I find it just not a lot happens.
Jack Preacher
that's
coming
also
into
quite
the chat.
Bendis.
How you doing, Jack? Jack Preacher.
So, yeah, I find it alright. He's got a good set of artists on his books as well, so it always looks really good.
Mod says, totally agree with you. The Walking Dead show sucks. Agreed. I have actually started reading the comics because of you guys.
Excellent, Maud. Good choice.
You can't see it. You can't see it, but I'm hearting. I'm making a heart with my hands. Making a heart with my hands for you, like Taylor Swift does. Tay Tay. No, I'm really liking the Bendis stuff. We were actually able to talk to the guys at DC at C2E2 about, Bendis' stuff and some of the stuff he was doing. We actually got to talk to Gleason at C2E2 and how excited he was working on issue 1000 for Action. DC,
real nice guy.
Really nice guy.
Gleason's really cool.
DC has actually been putting out so many good books that I have enjoyed reading. And actually, Chiefs, through this, we have been finding books that we normally would not have picked up from, like, the shelves. Like, Chief was, like, infatuated with the Snagglepuss story.
Yeah, I got it. I didn't know what to think of those when they did those Hanna-Barbera books.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so weird. And then I got the reason I wanted to read it is because they said that they were going to do the backup story was going to be Sasquatch Detective, which is the one I really wanted to read. So I was like, well, I got to read the Snagglepuss to read the Sasquatch Detective. So I read the first one, and it's just so weird that it is basically Snagglepuss is a gay man married to a woman during McCarthy era.
The communist hunt
for communists in America back in the day. So Snagglepuss is living like a kind of a double life, but his character, it's like a really serious story about censorship and when they did the communist witch hunt with McCarthy back in the day, and they were people were turning in their relatives as communists and the Red Scare and all that stuff. It takes place during that time. But he's a big pink lion that doesn't wear pants. So I'm like, this is the weirdest thing. Like everyone else is a human. Everyone else is normal, everyday life. But just the Hanna-Barbera characters are big pink lions and big blue dogs with no weird pants.
And somehow Squidly Diddly looked like Don Rickles.
And Squidly Diddly there's like a squid that wears a T-shirt, and he
had human eyes.
With a human face, and nobody. And they're just drawn really weird. But I ended up getting hooked into this comic, and then I had to read it. I had to have it every week. Or every time.
Did you see the Tom King Elmer Fudd Batman issue?
I didn't read it, but I know I'm aware of it. I do. I would like to see it.
Like one of the ones.
It was brilliant.
One of the ones, yes, Frosty Sniper, Pink Panther. They did a Pink Panther comic set in McCarthy era. It's the things that they come up with, my friend. The things they come up with. Like, I really have been getting into the Power Rangers books from Boom.
He's a lion. He's not. Snagglepuss is a lion.
Oh yeah, Snagglepuss is a lion. I've been getting really into the Power Rangers book over there at Boom because of the storyline they're doing called Shattered Grid, where it's like all across time, all the Rangers coming together, the battle, this alternate dimension Green Ranger, and it's like these are books I would never have picked up on the shelf. But because we're reviewing them, we pick a couple to read every single week from each publisher, and they're good. And like now we're getting Zenescope, which I've always kind of dabbled in Zenescope because I always said Zenescope has kind of like that J. Scott Campbell looking art. And anybody will tell you I love J. Scott Campbell art. I think his art is beautiful. I mean, Panda's gotten me quite a few J. Scott Campbell books from Midtown. And reading these stories that are, they're the classic fairy tales like Snow White, but they're twisted and things like that. It's so amazing that these books are out there because it's kind of like finding something new. I mean, Image comes out with a new #1 every single week, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with every book at Image. So being able to flip through these books that we read for reviews and reading something new, it's invigorating. It's brought back my love of reading books because I'm finding new things rather than just the same old stuff every single week.
No, Culver, did you read the book Deathbed by Joshua Williamson that just came out recently? It was on. It's a DC, but it's Vertigo. Yeah, it's a Vertigo book.
Deathbed, no.
Oh, I would recommend. I think it's only 6. Was it 6 issues? I think
something
it was
like
only
that.
6. But yeah, I would recommend that one. That one was really good. It was a weird, like old timey adventurer guy that he claims he's dying. He's on his deathbed. Then he wants a ghostwriter to come and help write his life story. But when she comes to write the story, he's immediately attacked by like mummy ninjas. And it turns out he just brought her in to lure his enemies in on his deathbed that think he's dying. And it turns out he gets up and he just wants to fight, and he wants to take this woman around with him to show her his adventurous life throughout his